Hello and welcome back to Shelf Center. This is Bryce. Thanks so much for stopping by. Thanks for liking and subscribing. If this is something you end up enjoying, you never know, it could happen. Hey, we did it. It's the end of the year. And guess what? This is my top 10 reads for the whole entire year of 2023. That means I had to wait till the last moment when I knew I wasn't going to be able to finish any more books, because that's the kind of respect that I give to the month of December that pretty much nowhere else gives, okay? Nowhere else. Sorry, I'm a little salty still. End of your birthday and all that. Here's my list of my top 10 books for the year of 2023. And what I've done here is I didn't count any of the rereads. This was a year for rereads. I did quite a few rereads, Malazan being a lot of them. But also and most of the time, rereads are books that are favorites already 99.9% of the time. Just so happens to be that this year I did a reread, and it was of a book that I didn't like at first, and that was The Last Wish, Witcher, essentially the first Witcher book. Not the first canonical novel, though. Anyway, it's because it's short stories. But anyway, let's jump right into this list because I'm excited to do this. First things first, and that's by first thing is 10th. Book number 10 on my list of the year is going to be The Grace of Kings by Ken Liu. This was a book, and this is, I thanks all to you guys. You guys helped me really keep going, and I love just our time together, interacting, having some fun here, talking about our favorite things, which are these wonderful books that we just love so much. But The Grace of Kings was actually something that I just randomly I forget, was it the middle of the year, somewhere around there, where I just said, hey, audience, pick me a book, recommend a bunch, put them on a list, narrowed it down, and then the vote was The Grace of Kings, and I'm very grateful to y'all because it was great. I loved it, absolutely loved it, and I already have the sequel for my TBR for 2024. I'm very much looking forward to that. Hear nothing but great things. But The Grace of Kings is epic. It's great. It's characters that I really grew to love and absolutely made this list. Number 9, this is a surprise to me, but I really do feel like it. I love this one. And it's going to be Baptism of Fire. I only have Time of Contempt in book form, but I grabbed a Witcher book, okay? This year essentially has been the year of Cradle and Witcher for me, I think, pretty much. I have gone all in on those. Cradle, I finally finished this year, and that's 12 books. Witcher, I've read a number of the books, I think up to 5 at this point. Starting with The Last Wish, that I did not love, and when I first read it, I did not like it actually at all. And but rereading it, I loved it. It actually might be one of my favorites, but since it was a reread, I didn't count it. But my favorite so far of the books we've read, it was hard because it was down to Sword of Destiny or Baptism of Fire. Baptism of Fire won out. It's been my favorite of the novels so far. Just so much going on, so much just, following The Witcher, following Yennefer, Ciri. There's just so many things going on, so much war, building and all this stuff. And anyway, it's been a great series that I've actually loved, as opposed to when I started out, I thought I honestly did not like it. So anyway, this has been a huge turnaround for me, and very exciting that I actually am a huge fan now. Number 8, this is science fiction and fantasy, so I'm going to go with science fiction. We're going with Martha Wells's Fugitive Telemetry, Murderbot number 6, I believe. I think it's 6. I enjoyed this one the most so far. It's really fun. I really like that there's one full novel, but the rest are just novellas, and they're really fun, quick novellas. I cannot wait to finish the series, as I do have System Collapse for my TBR for 2024. Going to finish that series. I believe this is the last one. What's funny is this one's it's almost a novel. It's very close. It's like right there on the edge. I would consider it novel length. But I think it's still considered a novella. Who knows? But I absolutely love these covers. I love everything about them. I am frustrated, though. I only have the 2 covers that match so far. The rest have this like different colored down lower part here. Everything I say for that sounds dirty. But anyway, great series. Cannot wait to finish it, and cannot wait to see what Apple TV Plus does for it. Number 7, as I mentioned, this has been the year of Cradle for me, and so Cradle book is going to make this. We're going with Reaper by Will White. That would be book number 10 of the Cradle series. I just love the Cradle series. I love that it's getting potentially here made into an animated series or some animated something, depending on how this Kickstarter goes. But Cradle is just, it is mostly popcorn. It's just fun, and it's been a blast to level up our characters, but in reading form. That's really been something new to me in the last couple of years, and I didn't realize how much fun it is. And I know some people, I don't know, I found that it entertainingly does so. It keeps things going, keeps things entertaining while you're leveling your characters up to each level, and here they, have different stages of iron and jade and gold and all these things, and so there's lots of different levels leveling without like a number. It's not like Pokemon or something like that, but it has that just like, I don't know, we've all like how many games are just leveling up, how many RPGs, how many of those things are leveling up. And so I didn't realize how much I would like it in book form, and it's absolutely a blast. It's so much fun. Again, book this far into the series, but there's some huge reveals that really got me and made me kick myself for going, how did I not spot that? But it was great, and I love it. And so Cradle definitely makes it to the top of the list here. All right, then number 6, we are going to go with Swan Song by Robert McCammon. This was my second by Robert McCammon. This was just epic. I mean, so epic. And it's post-apocalyptic. The superpowers that be rain down atomic bombs everywhere, and there's just nobody safe. Everybody has tumors. There's all this stuff going on. It's survival against, what's left over. It's so just nuts. The characters are great. They're unique. And it's hard not to compare it to The Stand, which has a lot of the same kind of idea and this ominous kind of dread kind of back as the backbone of the whole story. But also some goodness, and so anyway, it's a great one. Absolutely nuts, huge, and just massive and epic in all the ways. Number 5, this actually made it on my best of what was released this year that I submitted to Matt's book reviews, so check out that video. Bloody Chorus, John Marco. I absolutely love this. This is self-published by the man himself. He is a traditionally published author, which I've loved. All of the books that I've read by him. There's only a couple that I haven't gotten to yet, but I absolutely love Marco's writing. It's like coming home. It's epic fantasy just done in such a great way. Characters that you root for, but that are so real that I think it does put people off. Just real characters doing real things, making bad choices, but good choices too. But just being human, or not human in these cases, but being imperfect, let's say that. It's got nautical elements, it's got political elements, it's got this like crazy pantheon of gods, and but fighting with like modern, with a culture. So it's culture clashes of like gods and monsters, and then these the technology and progress and just excellent. So just well done and just so unique. And I know it went to a publisher, and it's just one of those where I love that independent publishing is here because it can publish our weird stuff, our stuff that maybe a traditional publisher might say no to because it might not be marketable, but that's awesome still, and I love that. And this is a dragon whale, so I don't think I need to say more than that. All right, next I'm going with, this is, Brandon Sanderson does make the list. We're going with Mistborn. I finally read Mistborn for the first time this year, and I need to continue it. I didn't include this on my TBR. I assumed I'd get there anyway. I probably should have, but I plan to continue and finish this trilogy very soon. I don't want to forget things. But Mistborn is excellent. It's one of these that I see where everybody's coming from when they say, Mistborn's a great starting point for getting into Sanderson, but that people just love it. It's On Goodreads, I think it's the most popular, or it's like the most rated book that Sanderson has, and it's got tons of ratings. But it was really well done. The magic in it is really fun, really interesting, really makes you pay attention, has a good kind of training montage, which I'm a sucker for always, but also has, you know, one of the best twists that I think I've ever read, and I was not ready for, and I like that he did that because it was true to the character, it was true to the world, true to everything, and it worked, and it hit a home run, frankly, and so I'm very impressed. Sanderson does it again. I'm not like a diehard Sanderson stan. I do like my Sanderson. I have plenty of his books on my list, so don't get me wrong there, but I absolutely love me some Sanderson. I think he's great, and I am excited to finish this trilogy and then be able to finish the Era 2, and then he's going to be starting Era 3 here as the news. So Era 3 he'll be working on in 2025, but we'll get there. But anyway, very glad to finally be drinking the Kool-Aid here with the Mistborn. All right, number 3, I'm going with Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. Oh man, this is like, it's science fiction done so well, so right, so much fun. It's, you know, if you've heard it's very similar to The Martian, that's not untrue. It's very similar to The Martian. It's very, but I mean, if you like The Martian, then you're gonna like it, and it's different enough. I felt like that it's almost like, you know, you could maybe say the same character did another mission. Lots of science involved again, and the science is still the fun part. And you're going, how is the science the fun part? How is the math the fun part of this? And just the constant calculations. I loved. I don't want to spoil too much because it's a fun, like, I don't know. I'm glad that I did not know going in what I found out, but it's really fun. But essentially, it's this. The sun's gonna fail, the solar system then is gonna fail, the whole, you know, Earth is gonna fail. We've got to send a Hail Mary into outer space and try to figure out and solve this problem. Anyway, it's told kind of in two different parts. It's, you have your main guy, he's got some amnesia, he's waking up, he's going, what the heck am I even doing here? I'm on a spaceship, I guess. And he's slowly learning, so it's like almost like Jason Bourne, but like he's a scientist instead of ninja moves. He's got math skills, not karate skills. If that's even remotely accurate, I don't know. But it's fun, and it's told in a way so you're in like the present on the spaceship, you're in the past, and you get to like slowly start remembering his past as he is, and then you start to then you experience, you know, once he gets to the destination and what happens from there, and you're just it's like you're glued to your seat the whole time. It is absolutely a blast. I literally, first thing I did was recommend it to my stepdad, who then read it like in days and was like, that was great, thank you, that was amazing. We also bonded over The Martian, so I had a feeling that this would land as well. So it wasn't really fair. All right, number 2, I'm going with Jade Legacy by Fonda Lee. Now, I do have to explain some things because the whole Greenbone saga made it to 10 on my overall list of top 100 fantasy books. And then you're going to see that what wins out for this year, but I don't know, might be some recency bias, I don't know. But it makes sense in my head, and so I'll explain it in a bit. But Jade City, the last book in the Greenbone saga, it's excellent. It's not my favorite in the trilogy. I think War is my favorite. This is the second book. War really, I just felt like it really set the stage so well. And Jade Legacy is an excellent ending, so there's nothing taken away from it. I mean, literally, Jade, the Greenbone saga, it just made my top 10 fantasy books of all time list. It's all good. It's all amazing. It's number 2 for this whole year. It was pretty good. It's got some good emotional payoffs. It had some things in it that I struggled with, but also I'm like, is the author true to the characters? Yeah, I think so, but is it the way that I wanted it? Not as much. So there's some frustrations there, but also I think it's mostly just me. But also it's because of how Fonda Lee wrote these characters and made you love them and fall in love with just every quirk of even just a spaz like Hilo who can be, but just like, you know, but they make real decisions, and maybe sometimes they're a little crazy, and maybe I don't understand how people at the head of essentially a cartel or a gang are going to operate. Their mindset's going to be completely different than mine. I would assume they're in a whole different world, and so I just think Fonda Lee just did this so well, did this insanely amazing job here, and kicked it out of the park with that whole trilogy, and she's on my list of auto-buy authors, absolutely. All right, number one, you may or may not know what's been missing and what I've been kind of talking about a lot about lately, but also why this had to give that caveat already for book number two, because book number one is Red Seas Under Red Skies. That is book two in the Gentleman Bastard series. Like I said, the Greenbone saga, the Greenbone trilogy, made it to number 10 in my all-time list of 100. The Gentleman Bastards was 11. Frankly, something had to be somewhere, and so that's part of it. But honestly, I think I did like Red Seas Under Red Skies better than Jade Legacy, but on the whole trilogy beats out what I've read so far in the Gentleman Bastards. So it's so close though anyway. Red Seas Under Red Skies, number one for the year 2023. I absolutely loved it. Had a blast talking about it with Murphy Napier, Overly Average Ben, and Grace Dion. And it just learned so much more. There's like some slapstick comedy in here. There's like a con, and I love a good, just cons are just so much fun. The planning that an author has to do to be able to really pull off a really good con is like, I feel like it's just so much more thought, so much more that goes into that than you possibly can imagine, and I'm just so impressed. And this is a sequel, and what's funny is I was talking about it in a video not too long ago, and the author himself, Scott Lynch, actually responded and was like, the second book is a bastard. I just love it. It was great. So much going on with this book, and you just get to know Locke Lamora that much better. His best friend, Jean Tannen, and they can't change. They're not going to change. But as we've learned from the previous book, and I don't want to spoil too much, there's all kinds of issues going into Red Seas Under Red Skies. One of the things is it's a huge, there's a bit of mostly it gets resolved, but except for this one kind of cliffhanger thing, and I am very excited to learn more. But I cannot recommend this enough. I love the cover of this book alone, but it's just excellent. Anyway, there's a reason Scott Lynch is one of my favorite authors. He can write just not only compelling characters, but just these insane plots where, you think you've got a grasp on what's going on, and you're not even close. And then you get some reveals and you're like, wow, he got me again. That's impressive. This is my list of the top 10 books for 2023. What do you think? Any that I missed this year that I should be reading? Anything that I could always use a recommendation, because my TBR is not big enough, that's for sure. It's only like $1,000 or $2, so what's a couple more anyway. Funny enough, you get 2 top 10 lists in 1 week. I couldn't help myself, but here we are. It just kind of it worked out that way with my top 100 list, and then also posting this one. So hopefully I had some fun with that. Hopefully that's what you wanted, is some top 10 lists, and I will catch you in the new year. See you next year. Bye.